Well, today we're going to take a look at the TOPS MSF 4.0 Scandi folder. Well, hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I'm your host, Aaron, and I'm really pumped to take a look at this TOPS folder. You know, we don't have a lot of TOPS folders on the market, but they're wanting to get more into that. We got a lot of really cool features on this design, including a loop over pocket clip, micarta handle scales, ball bearing pivot, and a lot of extra stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look today and see what this knife has to offer, and if a Scandi folder is a good EDC or outdoor type of pocket knife.
All right, let's hit the biz-nos end of this knife. Scandi grind, 0 degree bevel. TOPS does a great job with this type of grind. And so again, you're gonna have to decide, is this something that you wanna carry just for the outdoors? Is it something you can carry for EDC, crossover? I was 50-50 before I started because I've never used like a Scandi grind for actual like EDC use, but I was actually super happy with it. It really performed well for all of the tasks that I did around the house, cardboard, rubber, nylon, all that type of stuff. Then of course, more outdoor tasks, carving, whittling, notching, feather sticks, delicious, awesome. Perfect, because it's a Scandi grind. I mean, that is what those grinds were originally designed for, and man, do they excel at that. Decent belly, really nice precise tip, particularly for EDC. I was really happy with that precision, easy to open packaging and pierce packaging for your kid's newest toy or whatever it may be that you're trying to open up. The only kind of, you know, 50-50 area is food prep. Scandi grinds are not great for food prep. Look at any of your kitchen knives, they're all gonna be full flat grinds. That's a reason for that. It did okay, you know, cutting my apple up at that Alpine Lake, no problem. It's just, you know, you gotta kind of focus on what you're doing, whereas a full flat grind, just you do your thing and you move on down the road. So food prep, it's doable. That's the only area where I see it kind of lacking a little bit, and that's because of the grind, not because of the knife. And what we're looking at is from handle to tip is 3 1/4, and actual cutting edge is like 3.1 inches. Fantastic for do everything, either a compact, you know, carving knife in a folding capacity out in the woods, or a great size for precision EDC tasks. Really like that. 1/8 of an inch thick on the back of the spine, tapering down really nicely. Did a good job. And it is made out of that Italian, or I think it might be German, I can't remember, it's European, I'll say that. N690 steel is what they chose to go with and had it made there. And I like that steel. I've used it a lot with a lot of different companies, including 1 or 2 of others' TOPS knives. And it's a great stainless steel. Holds a really nice edge. Not too hard to work with out in the field on ceramic rod. You can get an edge back on this knife without too much trouble, but we're going to be very rust resistant and hold a better edge than your 1095s will. And I really like that aspect a lot. It has a harder Rockwell. I like it better than, say, like Spyderco's VG10, even though it's kind of in that same family of like VG10, 154 CM, and kind of those areas of being, you know, a good stainless steel. I like it a lot, and it's a really good steel choice that TOPS decided to go with. Now, it is that satin finish on the blade edge itself, and then a tumble finish back here. It is a rounded spine, except for down here where the grind is transitioning in. This part right here is sharp enough that you could throw a spark off of if you needed to. But great design, great overall performance, and I was really happy with a Scandi grind folder, and was surprised that I could get a lot of EDC tasks done with it, as well as, of course, outdoor tasks. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit deployment and lock up on the blade. Now, it's a finger flipper design. I like flippers. They really are functional to me. This one in particular is really nicely done. No sharp angles, no jimping or anything like that, but protrudes nicely. Very easy for me to engage with my index finger, light flick of the wrist, and boom, that thing is gonna fly open because it's on ball bearing bushings, which is really nice. So that's showing a level, again, of just detail and quality that you're not seeing in all U.S. companies. Now, this is, again, made in Italy, but it's for TOPS, you know, which is a U.S. company. And so it's super smooth on those ball bearings. Nice detent. It's not going to accidentally flip open, you know, in your pocket. Sometimes ball bearing bushinged knives have a tendency to do that. That is not the case on this guy. Now, you know, there is the possibility, because there are micro gaps, you know, with a ball bearing system, maybe isn't quite as resistant to grit as, say, bronze bushings, but for me, I have zero issue with that, and this, with all the outdoor use and EDC use, haven't had any grittiness or, you know, issues with that. But just, you know, food for thought, some things to think about. Liner lock system there, that's going to hit about 40% of the blade, really nicely done. Good, perfect thickness on that, not too thin, not too thick on that liner lock. A little bit of jimping for you to purchase. Now, right out of the box, it was pretty gritty, meaning I really had to put some pressure on it to disengage. After about 3 or 4 days of playing with the knife, it was fine, but I would have liked to see that little bit fixed. It wasn't a huge issue, but you know, I really had to kind of push some effort, and it felt like there was a little lip that had to be worn down a little bit on the liner lock before I could really, you know, just easily disengage it when I need to. One other thing to note is that you can see that the liner lock is almost flush with the handle there. And at first I was kind of irritated with that, but as I got used to and I wore away that little burr or whatever was causing that kind of stickiness right there, it was easy for me to disengage, you know, and I can do it with gloves on or whatever. And they did that on purpose, whereas maybe some other pocket knives, you may see the liner lock a little further out, a little easier to disengage. And I was thinking about it and I said, oh man, they designed that on purpose, I believe, for outdoor use, so that when I'm gripping the knife, particularly right around here, around the neck, and I'm really pushing and doing carving and, you know, doing bushcraft style tasks, there's not this sharp piece of metal digging into my index finger there. It's almost flush with the handle scale, and you can see it's almost hidden on the other side there. So I think they did that really well, again, thinking through the design, not just slapping a liner lock in there, but they were like, let's keep it almost as flush as possible, so that when people are using this for an extended time in the field, it's not biting into their hand, which I really like that thought process. We got a nice stop bar back there, good solid lockup. I'm not feeling anything side to side, nothing up and down. Solid lock up there, and nice, solid, perfect centering. And I've been playing with this guy quite a bit. So lock up, centering, flipper, ball bearing, really well done. Just a little sticky in the first day or two of ownership with my particular design.
All right, so price on this design. You know, for everything that we're getting, I was actually expecting this to be around like $150, but Blade HQ, Amazon links below, about $100. So for Italian made, the steel that we're looking at, the N690 steel, ball bearing, micarta, deep ride. I mean, there's a lot going for this folder, and it's not gonna break the bank. So I'm really impressed with what they're offering you, and I think that's actually a really good deal compared to a lot of other Italian made knives that are out there of very similar materials and design that are easily $150 to $200. So links below, guys. Thank you for your support by using those hyperlinks to Blade HQ or Amazon when we offer them. It really helps me out, gets me out to locations like this to take time away from family and work to give you guys content just like this. Now, Tops did send this over to me so I could test it out, review it, and give you guys this feedback so you can decide whether or not this folder is going to be the right tool for you.
All right, let's go ahead and hit the handle here. This is a cool part of the blade and the knife overall, because it has the ability to really fill your hand out that you would want in like an outdoor folder, but is still, I don't know, slim and light enough to really connect with an everyday carry type of lifestyle for a knife. So what we're looking at here is overall from front to back, 4.25 inches overall length. Thickness on this is 0.55. You know, a lot of them are going to be 0.5, 0.45. So you're getting a little bit more beef, a little bit more heft to the thickness there. Brown micarta that's been polished really nicely. So it's not heavy micarta, but you know, with any micarta, the wetter it gets, the more traction you get. So you will give you a little bit more grip the wetter it gets if you're using this out in the outdoors and getting it sweaty and hot, or you know, whatever it may be. Then it does have steel liners that have been milled out, which I really like to see. If we can catch that right there in there, nice milled out liners, which makes this come in at a nice tasty weight of 3.5 ounces, which is really nice to see that for this size of knife, for the options, and just for the overall idea and concept. You know, I was expecting it to come in more around 4.5 to 5 ounces, but at 3.5, it's delightful. And with the handle ergonomics, perfect cut-ins. You know, sometimes humps and, you know, valleys and grooves tend to get me a little nervous, but with my large size gloves, as you guys know, fills out my hand really nicely. Got enough real estate on the back end, got a really nice with that flipper guard, so I'm not accidentally going to ride up and cut myself on that wicked sharp Scandi grind. And all of the angles have been transitioned nicely. Now they are flats on the sides. You know, it's not as contoured as some other outdoor knives that we tested out and reviewed in the past that are like folders. You know, they're just super ergonomic. This is very ergonomic for a pocket knife, but it does have flats on the sides, but the transitions are really nice and rounded, which I really like a lot. You could grip this in kind of a back, you know, chest lever grip and do chest pulls that way, and it would feel fine for a medium period of time. This is not, you know, like a Brothers of Bushcraft or one of their other, you know, types of knives like that. It's not designed that way. So well thought out, just some light jimping there, not sharp jimping like I've seen in the past from Tops. That's really good. I like to see that. This is kind of like the level of jimping, a lot less aggressive. Even the pocket clip has a nice loop over and just a slight flare there, so it's not going to bite in your hand. So you can cut for quite a period of time, you know, doing more bushcraft style tasks out in the woods, and it's not going to create a lot of hot spots. Not as, again, ergonomic as, say, again, like a bushcraft style knife, but for a pocket knife, it's going to do really, really well. And the pocket clip is another well thought out design, loop over, tip up, right or left. So totally ambidextrous pocket knife for you lefties out there. Big positive, way to go, Tops, in that regard. Nice, very high ride. I mean, it's almost flush with the handle, just a little bit popping out there. Good loop over though, just a little bit of a flare, not super obnoxious. Sometimes you'll get this big flare sticking out and it's sharp in your hand and it's scratching your car. Not the case on this, no abrupt angles on that pocket clip. It does kind of like semi-cover the lanyard hole, so you could probably get 550 through there without issue, but you may need to take the pocket clip off if you're going to run 550 paracord through that lanyard hole. That was something that I kind of noticed there in the design. But other than that, I mean, great. I hiked 13.5 miles with this for this particular video where you're seeing like the Alpine Lake and stuff. Never once even was trying to ride out of my pocket. So it's perfect for like a hiking ride, and for, again, EDC around town. All you're going to see is this kind of satin, small loop over design pocket clip, and that's it, which is really nice to see. So it is that dual working pocket clip for outdoors or for the office.
Well, folks, what this knife tells me is that Tops is starting to put a dent in the pocket knife arena. I really think that they did a great job doing a crossover knife. Great fit and finish, great price point, great materials. There's nothing really that I can complain at all with this design, and it is this cool crossover. Usually a Scandi grind would be something that you would want to use outdoors, but it actually performed really well for my average EDC task that I would want to do. But again, it's still going to slice and carve and whittle really well. So you can carry this, you know, 9 to 5 in your office, and then you're going to come up for a day hike. You don't really necessarily need to carry a Mora with you, or a, you know, Tops Brothers of Bushcraft, or one of their other Scandi grind knives. You could just technically carry this and then, you know, a big survival knife if you want to or something, and you'll be set and good to go because of the ergonomics and the design and the shape of the blade. So I think Tops is doing awesome with this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other pocket knives they come up with in the future. Well, I know you guys have been complaining about my G.I. Joe glasses. These are not going away. I'll try and rotate them a little bit differently with our knock around other glasses. Sure, but I think they are awesome glasses. My buddy Brian does as well, and he's an Oakley man. He loves these. Yeah, if you're looking for some inexpensive but fun sunglasses, go check out Knock Around. I'll have a link in the description below. You can customize, and they're like 30 bucks or less. They do, you know, limited run ones like my G.I. Joe glasses, and it's a lot of fun. So guys, thank you so much for coming over here today, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. If you guys are new to the channel, I invite you to become part of the GT family and subscribe. You current subscribers rock. Thank you so much for your continued support here. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.